Okay, without further delay, let me start introducing Dr. Velko. He is one of the pioneers of uh, digital transformation and extending its application to 4D, 5D, and he has got his own tool. He's one of the founding member of this Bexel group, Bexel Consulting Group, and Bexel India Consulting is a subsidiary agency of Bexel Manager or Bexel Consulting, a bigger group. And we have recently had a MOU with Bexel Group so that we can work towards the digital transformation in our campus construction project, as well as the strategic partnership that we are aiming in terms of the development of this tool, as well as in terms of assisting in developing this tool further for the Indian context, as well as the study based on our campus construction project. So these are all some of the portfolio of that MOU. When you get time, please get into Ajit's LinkedIn page and Arun's LinkedIn page, or Bexel India Consulting LinkedIn page, that you could see more and more information about it. And we are so excited to work along with this particular vibrant research group, or the industry partner. With this, I will stop sharing and I'll start concentrating on introducing our chief guest of the session today, Dr. Velcro. He's a president of Bexel Consulting. He's an esteemed BIM expert and lecturer and creator of Bexel Manager platform. He has been supporting to the open BIM workflows and innovation in integrated BIM project management, with his active role in BIM standardization through various international and regional associations and committees. Currently, he holds a seat in the Building Smart International Construction Room Steering Committee and is a vice chair of digitalization and BIM committee with FDP. And he lectured on many high-profile professional conferences in the field of BIM and project management, and has been a guest lecturer at a number of universities worldwide. And also, he's a president of BIM Serbia Association and is a member of CEN 442 committees of Serbia and Slovenia. So, as I told you, he has got varieties of portfolios. If I start reading it, it's going to be, going on and on and on. Without further delay, we know that it's just a sample I showed you. What is his credential? So we are very much excited to listen to you, Dr. Velcro, and welcome to this particular last session, but it is not the least one. It is very important one. I'm sure that it is going to be exciting one. Floor is yours, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Senthil, for your kind words. I'm really honored to join you today. And again, congratulations on the excellent organization of this event. I will start sharing my screen. I hope you can.
Yes, we can
see it. Okay, excellent. So I'm gonna start with a brief introduction about Bexel. So we are a consulting and software development company. We founded 16 years ago, and in the last 11 years we are also involved in construction project management, very interesting, large, complex projects around the world. We are also very proud to get a lot of awards and recognition of our work on integrated open BIM intelligent BIM platform, Bexel Manager. We are especially proud to be the winners of the Building Smart International Innovation Award 2020, and jury members around the world recognized our solution as the most integrated solution with open BIM workflows. What is also very interesting to see, our vision from day one was that BIM could be more or less successfully used and implemented on the totally different types of the projects. And on the left hand side, you can see the chart which shows totally different types of projects where Bexel Manager is used at the moment. And on the other side, our vision was that BIM is beneficial for all stakeholders. And you can see here that, again, clients, project managers, contractors, designers, and operation and maintenance companies are using Bexel Manager. Here is the list of some of our clients. So we are proud really to have some of the most successful companies in the world, the large contractors, public companies, design companies, project management companies around the world successfully using and implementing the Bexel Manager in their workflows. So situation in industry is not very good, I have to say. So a lot of time-consuming manual processes, and unfortunately, very low level of automation. And by focusing on those tedious work, we are usually, unfortunately, losing the big picture and cannot focus on optimizations and improvements. In identifying, we know all those problems, but as we know, identifying the problems is only half of the solution. We really need new technologies, breakthrough, innovative approaches to overcome those problems. And I used to quote Abraham Maslow. So he said, if the only tool you have is a hammer, you tend to see every problem as a nail. So we really need the new technologies and the new approaches and the new culture, company culture and general culture in construction industry in order to overcome those challenges and problems at the moment we are facing with. What is also very interesting, this is research done in the UK, and very similar results are in the US. So what are the key barriers to using BIM? And the key barrier is very interesting, is no client demand. Uh, Second two issues are lack of training and expertise, and the third one group is cost-related issues. But what really surprised us is that the key challenge is no client demand or barrier. So it means that we are not seeing the benefits in BIM, or BIM is not properly used, or we used to say BIM for the sake of BIM should be avoided. So it means that we don't see the benefits and just would like to use the BIM if the client specifically requires us to do that. It's like somebody asked me to go to London, and then I decided to walk because in the invitation was not specified that I should use plane or car to go there. So it's similar, like we are not using computers or good technologies because, let's say, nobody specified, and we are still stuck with typewriting machines because in the agreement was not asked, computers are not asked to be used. So this shows us that we still are not using BIM properly, and still some processes are just done for the sake of marketing purposes, and most of real analysis are done in traditional way. So the second issue which we recognized within Building Smart International is lack of training and the lack of standardized training. So now, as with every hype, there are a lot of companies providing trainings, some certifications and so on. But in order to really have this process standardized and those knowledge valuable, we believe it's important to have a professional standardized certification. And that's why we, within Building Smart International, created a professional certification program. At the moment, foundation level is available, and practitioner certification will start this year. So it's very good initiative, and now in more than 10 countries we already have established training centers, and we are also proud that Bexel is on the global level certified to provide those trainings as well. And we are involved in the committees which define curriculums for the trainings. The cost of BIM again is a challenge, and we saw a number of projects. I have to say, I saw maybe more than 1,000 large scale projects and execution plans, and a lot of times it's not fit for purpose approach. So we ask for extremely high level of detail of models, but then do not use them in a construction stage or in monitoring stage and so on. So what we believe is that fit for purpose approach should be uh, implemented. So stay focused on benefits and ensure well implementations of those requirements. And we are really trying to promote this approach, but we always need to start from the benefits and end results, not from, let's say, some textbook documents where ideal world uh, and because we cannot achieve this, and then usually we will have a very modest results. Some stuff are going to be extremely well developed, others not, and at the end in this mess or a spaghetti approach we cannot have the best results. What are the challenges at the moment is that on the global level BIM is used mostly for 3D design. 4D, 5D usually, unfortunately, is used just for presentation purposes. I'm going to later discuss about levels of implementation in cost and scheduling part. Manually labor-intensive budgeting and scheduling, challenging change management. So it means that usually when we develop one Gantt chart, we are not updating it whenever design is changed, not because the planners are not willing to do that, but it's extremely complex because construction schedules are the most complex schedules in the world, and we have usually thousands or even sometimes hundreds of thousands of tasks, and there are no other industry where those level of details are expected on the construction side. The same goes with the cost analysis. So we have again dozens of thousands of cost items, and if you don't have automation, simply it's impossible. Even if we have theoretical traditional tools, we cannot cope with the challenges simply because it's so much difficult and complex to do it manually. Again, payment certificates are without beam-based control, so again everything is done traditionally. There is no single source of truth. So usually we see the drawings in 2D are not corresponding to 3D beam model. Schedule is developed totally separately, and of course not correlating always with the beam and the project itself. Cash flow analysis are developed by financial department, again not coping with other information. And at the end, when we have any dispute, the most of the work is really to understand what is happening, because the data is not trustworthy and updated at the same time. So the idea, and we know all those challenges, and to be honest, it's very difficult to overcome this, and only with innovative approaches we can do that. So here are some of the examples. We are not using, for example, flow lines or location-based scheduling, which is workflow and approach developed 80 years ago. Empire, or 90 years ago, Empire State Building was built with this approach, and now we forgot this and use just Gantt charts. Gantt charts are beneficial and critical path method, but without flow lines and location-based scheduling, we are going to have, and we unfortunately have, construction conflicts of different teams, different subcontractors working at the same time and same location. No resource analysis, material quantities in time, delay analysis are done manually, so claim management is again, and disruptions are analyzed manually, and unfortunately results are cost overruns or low quality. So the idea is to have a detailed Gantt charts, single source of truth where data is coming from is the same, updated at the same time, is trustworthy, is accurate, and so on. We need to have a beam-based planning, so to send to the site, look ahead plans for daily, weekly, monthly works organized by subcontractors, by phase, material, or so on. And we need to have very accurate beam-based progress monitoring. We know that sometimes we just receive from the site, okay, it's 50% of something is finished. When I see 50% of something is finished, I know it's not accurate. And unfortunately, in reality, it's usually a lower number, but nobody have time to check this. And that's why we are so surprised at the end when we realize that 3 months before the deadline that we need another year to do everything. So the challenges we all know, and we are facing with them on almost all the projects. So why I'm now going to talk about construction phase, because as you can see here, these are the different approaches. One is conventional, where we lose a lot of data and information in the project execution. Then we have what is called closed beam, so where, let's say, big vendors ask you to use just their tools. They are the best one, they are the greatest one, and so on. Of course they are doing great things, but uh, let's say for any reason you are not satisfied with one of their systems and so on, it's extremely difficult to transfer or to go to another technology and so on. And that's why for the last 25 years within Building Smart International, we are promoting open beam. So it allows flexibility, it allows uh, openness, it allows you to easily change or switch your processes if something else is available at the market. And what is very important, it allows you to store the data in the proper format and open format, and be 100% sure that you can reuse that information, let's say for a facility maintenance purposes or renovation in 20, 30 years and so on. The 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 challenges of the solution, let's say, in this approach is to switch construction process from manual tedious works to something which Henry Ford developed 120 years ago. So assembly line principles, so factory approach, where you organize the processes in a flow line, and like in a factory or in assembly line, do automation of all repetitive and time-consuming tasks. It brings a lot of optimizations, increase the productivities, because everybody is working in the same pace, in a same or similar manner, and then we can really have additional time for creativity, flexibility, and innovation. So the idea is also to capture expert logic. So construction industry is very complex, and in order to be successful, we really need to combine knowledge, experience, and creativity of engineers and experts with a massive computing power and big data management. So as when we are talking about open beam and IFC, there are, of course, the people who say, okay, it's not ideal, it should be improved in some areas and so on. But to be honest, that's my opinion. This is the single greatest achievement in the digitalization of the construction industry in the last 20 years. And whenever somebody says, okay, it should be improved, of course, everything should be and could be improved, But I used to quote Churchill, which says, democracy is the worst form of government except for all those other forms that have been tried from time to time. Uh, so what we are doing in the Building Smart International, we are developing currently BCF BIM collaboration format, upgrading it to the standard 3.0. We are also heavily working on additional implementations of IFC for infrastructure, additional enhancements. So we call this IFC 5, but we are not just focusing on infrastructure. We are bringing a lot of new additional improvements. Currently, IFC 4.3 is available, and at the moment we can very successfully implement OpenBIM on infrastructure projects. In a couple of years, it's going to be even better, but today we have plenty of very large and complex projects around the world where infrastructure projects where BIM is successfully implemented. Uh, the what is another uh, current activity is development of information delivery specification. So the idea is to in JSON to define the requirements, and the system automatically can check the all the properties, types of the data, values, and so on, and create your automatically report, which could be by BCF sent to the users. And fortunately, we are also proud to say that even before the standard is published, Bexel Manager fully supports JSON information delivery specification checks. We are also working on a collaboration on the global level. So there is a consortium within Building Smart International of 10 large vendors, and we are proud to be part of that group. We are collectively working on the OpenCD API, and within that, the BCF API, Documents and Products API, which will allow a better interoperability between our tools and technologies. And as I said, the vision is that you as a user have the option to choose different technologies, but at the end, the key result for you is that all those tools are working successfully, and interoperability is high. So within construction room, here are some ideas what we are working on. So here are the members of steering committee. I'm currently also the technical lead within the steering committee and coordinating development of all, let's say, NVDs, 4D, 5D templates and standards for implementation of IFC in construction stage. Uh, we are also focusing not just on the 3D models and data in the construction stage, but for us, very important are 5D, 6D, and 4D, of course, in order to have a fully successful implementation of them. So what we are working on currently, it's a model view definition for 4D and 5D. Then BIM-based cost classifications, cost items according to ISO 12006 Part 3. Very important, BIM-based construction schedule according to ISO 21511. So today, unfortunately, planners are, let's say, get used to develop schedule and in their own way, and they are not standardized ways for developing schedules and so on. ISO 21511 gives you idea how to standardize schedules, how to standardize processes. There is also a very great basis for location-based scheduling. So at the end, conclusion is that schedules are not open format things, but they have to be standardized like everything we standardize in the construction industry. And that will tremendously help in the optimal processes, optimal schedules, and optimal executions and monitoring of the schedules. We are also working on IFC properties for 4D, 5D, look ahead plans and beam-based progress monitoring and workflows in the tendering stage. Here are examples from Germany and Spain. So these are formats for tendering stage. So what we did is we created recently a letter to the chapters and invited chapters to submit use cases within construction room. So on the global level, this initiative started from Switzerland. Now it's implemented on the global level. So use case management, we would like to see result-oriented approaches. So where we see not just the nice marketing tools, nice videos and simulations, but we would like really to see from the companies on the global level how they successfully fully implemented BIM and also how they are dealing with their national standards. And I have to say that although it was distributed less than a month ago, and now it's a peak of summer holiday season in Europe and the States, we are having already very interesting use cases from different countries and different chapters. This is McKinsey research. So why we are doing all this, not because BIM is something great or cool or look nice or we are technology freaks. No, the idea is that McKinsey put that research that we could have a 5 to 10 times productivity boost for some parts of construction industry by moving to manufacturing style production system and assembling system. So this is something which really gives us a great idea how we can optimize the processes. Here are some statistics, let's say, from Bexel. So by using BIM, they are 20 times more efficient construction planning, 89% reduced budget overruns, increased construction productivity by 25%, faster change management, efficient cost estimation, and the design and data control. So we should always focus on those results, not to add something new. We should replace existing or improve existing workflows. What are the key factors for successful BIM implementation? They are result-oriented approach, fit for purpose, information-driven requirements. So always start from the end, and something which are not going to be used in reports, in analysis, and so on. We really don't need this. Sometimes I saw copy sheets with, let's say, 200 properties required from designer to develop to attach to each element, and then the client is using only 10 or 15 of those properties in any analysis. So okay, we increase overload the work, uh, have a slower processes, updates are done much slower, and not use the information at all. So this is something we should be avoided. In order to standardize and digitalize workflows, we need to develop very professional data templates. And unfortunately, I have to say that on more than 95% of the projects around the world, templates are not developed. So it's like, okay, we are trying to be more firefighters than managers, and do not identify, do not standardize, and so on. And of course, that we are going to face with number of challenges during the execution. So here are some of the important data templates. So one I already mentioned, information delivery specification, but also clash matrix is very important, cost classification and rules of measurement, beam cost and productivity databases. Again, I already mentioned this, so construction schedule template. So where you will clearly define the hierarchy of your task, ways how relationships are developed, naming conventions, and everything else. Of course, as-built documentation, linking templates, and facility maintenance planning templates. So we have some examples, especially in Northern Europe, in Scandinavia, where the system can automatically, let's say, with some templates, Excel could generate maintenance plans based on the BIM data and the templates for maintenance. The idea is to have intelligent and automated workflows and data management, and to replace traditional workflows and reports, not just to add new reports, new simulations. That's always good, but at the end, when we see a nice video and let's say 4D simulation and still are doing traditionally payment certificates or Gantt charts and everything else, we are going to say, okay, this is just our additional work. Maybe it's nice, maybe it's useful, but we don't see the benefits as, let's say, contractor in it, because this is just additional burden on already lot of tasks we have to do. So we need to really replace, so produce Gantt chart from B model, or produce schedule from B model, not produce schedule manually and then attach the tasks to the BIM elements. This is okay, nice, maybe it looks good, but it's just additional work, and we didn't use BIM for planning. We are just manually connecting activities with the elements. So in BIM Bexel Manager, we have a single source of truth. So this is a key benefit maybe in the successful BIM implementation. So everything is there. So from BIM models, clashes, QTS, costs, schedules, progress monitoring, zones, templates, knowledge-based management system. We are IFC certified by Building Smart, so could easily read and export IFC data. We support BCF classification, and also very important, have fully open API, so you can literally access to the data and easy transfer the data or connect the data with any other tools or platforms. So here are some workflows. So one is data validation. So you just load the BIM model, load the template from JSON or any other third-party solution or Excel, and the system will automatically produce reports. Without this approach, we would need months and months of manual data checks, which is of course something very difficult. Also, within clash detection, we are talking about hard clashes, clearance, containment, and duplicate. One of the very interesting things is the containment, which allows users to generate very interesting clashes within the B models. So these are the initiatives. These are the activities and works which are important in design stage. Then what is very important also is data enrichment, so ability to easily add new properties to the model automatically based on the certain rules and so on. Here is one example. In this case, we by simple Excel teach the system how to add new uniformed codes to each element in the project automatically based on the certain rules to which category, system group, and so on the element belongs. When we are talking about single source of truth, by combining the different domains, here you can see different domains in Bexel Manager, you can literally create hundreds of different checks, enrichments, and so on, and have reliable data. So the problem, if this is not in the one single source, which it could be even a distributed, but a single, in a way that it is very well connected, we cannot see combine those domains and see analysis. So let's say here are attributes and elements. If those two domains, we can just automatically have information delivery, data verification engine, and conditional information delivery specification engines, and so on. Here we have, and we add materials and relations. We could check, for example, if doors and windows are costed by walls. Again, fully automatically. If we have a cost item, so we can check the elements which costs just more than 100 euros because we don't want to focus on the small items at the moment because we need to define the priorities, or just focus on the elements which does not have information and should be executed in the next 3 months. So do not solve the problems on the roof while we are now in the excavation phase. We can also automatically create look ahead plans for next day, week, month, and so on. So these are, when we add additional, let's say, clashes, now we can organize the clashes, for example, where those clashes are going to occur on the site. So we can combine all those things, create selection sets per zones and so on. So really have the ability to produce very efficiently a lot of analysis almost automatically, or just, for example, selection set what activities has to be done for each subcontractor, or for, let's say, where our excavator has to be uh, uh, in the following 3 months, or let's say where our carpenters has to work in the next month, and so on. So really by combining those domains, we can have really excellent analysis, and of course export data at the end to IFC, BCF, Excel, Power BI, or any other system. Of course, similar things could be done for facility maintenance, so automated FM plans and so on. And at the end, the idea is that when we have a progress monitoring, again, we can have a beam-based progress monitoring. So collect the data, not by manually entering 50% of those works are done, by just selecting the activities which are done in a certain period. So what and at the end, of course, the idea is to use those domains, to integrate those domains with third-party solutions, so to have a full, more or less open approach, to have a very nice Power BI dashboards, and to, of course, enrich the data in your knowledge bases for the future projects, so to learn from your current projects and optimize and make more accurate analysis in the future. Now, here is one of the automated intelligent workflows in Bexel Manager. Of course, there are plenty of them. So the workflows, it has the workflow has 5 steps. So in this case, we have geometry data and metadata verification. So first, we need to check the data. So a lot of times we saw the situation when we start doing some analysis, but we didn't check the quality of existing data. And of course, it's going to be garbage in, garbage out. So first, check, very thorough check of all information. Based on those checks, we make decision, can we proceed, or let's say in which areas we can proceed. And the system, I will mention this briefly later about those levels of 4D and 5D BIM. So automatically create cost classifications, so not manually create cost versions. Then this is according to ISO 21511, define zones, methodologies, and creation templates, and automatically create schedules with 20, 50,000 tasks with all resources and so on. So the idea is to use the information for the already available, and in intelligent way by capturing and connecting expert logic, automatically do most of the work. So I just want to show you one example. This is a FIFA football stadium for next World Cup. It's had, it is finished now, but it had more than 600,000 elements, 28 million properties, 8,600 families, and schedule and cost and all other calculations uh, were done manually. So we had an extremely huge amount of information, and we are not using this. We are simply say, okay, now we forget this. let's manually create 20,000 tasks. And of course, we cannot attach quantities of resources or materials which has to be done on those tasks. We cannot properly define relationships. And whenever design is changed, and we were B managers on this project, it was changed twice a week. Nobody had time to change and update this. So this was a traditional approach. So fortunately, later, more intelligent approach was used. But this is the situation today. So we have extremely detailed models and do not use them. And they're all, when you ask, in reality, the contractors, Excel is still the most used tool for a monthly payment certificate. Gantt charts are, let's say, done in Project or Primavera without any relationship with BIM models and so on. So the vision is to use already available data in an intelligent way. So here are the BIM, let's say, levels of implementation and levels of workflow, so maturity levels. So level 0 for 5D BIM cost estimation is the process which is partially implemented on some projects. So you select 5 elements or create some sheet in a authoring tool and see, okay, 23,000 cubic meters of concrete, then you manually put this in Excel, continue like that, and so on. And when somebody says, okay, yeah, we are using BIM for cost estimation, a lot of manual tedious work, a lot of mistakes could happen in this process. And whenever design is changed, you simply at the end says, okay, I cannot cope with the changes. We hope just that it's more or less similar like with the previous version, and hope that nobody will complain about this and so on. So the next process is, let's say, 10 to 20 times faster, where we have a BIM cost databases, and then attach the cost codes to the items and the elements. And in the cost databases, for example, in Bexel, we also have those formulas, how the system will calculate the quantities, let's say twice multiply area for certain formworks and so on. Uh, and also have the identification, which allows the system to automatically, by using that code, connect the cost items with the elements. And if we have also attached resource data, we call this auto assign process. So on a single button, automatically calculate cost items. The challenges in this approach are that we need to have those BIM cost databases. Sometimes those cost databases are not corresponding with our BIM model. I just give you example. We have 100 types of windows in our cost database, but in our project there are 20 new Windows types, and we need first to define those window types, to estimate their costs, resources, codes, and so on. So we are again not using BIM information for creation of cost items. On the other side, as I mentioned, this process is 10 to 20 times faster. And whenever the updates are happening, usually we just need to add 2, 5, 10 new cost items for the elements added. If we just change quantities, the process could be done automatically. The level 2 process, what we implemented in Bexel Manager, and this is 5 times faster than the level 1, is that we read the data, all those properties and informations available, and automatically create in intelligent manner cost structures which are natively connected with BIM. So it means if I have in the model new 30 windows, the system will create new 30 cost items for those windows, and I don't need to manually do that. It will even attach the codes. It can even automatically, based on the predefined rules, create the formulas. So if we are talking about windows, for certain types of the windows, we will use just counting of the windows in the project. For some specific types of windows or facade works, we will use maybe square meters. So but the system can automatically, by knowing in a knowledge management system that for every window, aluminum, let's say window, we are using count as a property, as a formula. He will automatically create the calculations and codes and everything else. And again, with a single button, auto assign, uh, uh, we can calculate the budget, and then at the end add variable costs like markups, overhead, and taxes at the end. What is important that with this we can have evolving system, so we can add the new windows and the new doors and new valves and new pumps and new chillers in the project in during the our continuous work. And let's say if we are working on 10 projects, our database is almost going to have everything available and on our market when we are present, and we will just need to attach or enrich database with just small fraction of newly developed products for our next new project. The last level is level 3, where we have situation where we are combining our methodologies, and the system can automatically create multiple cost items and based on the methodology. Just to give you example, I have wall, and I know that there are 4 activities related to wall. One is reinforcement, second one is formwork, third one is concrete pouring, and the fourth one is some maintenance or adding some additives. The system, by knowing that every wall, concrete wall, has those 4 activities, could create exactly 4 cost items and apply different formulas. So reinforcement will be in kilos, and mass will be used, the form work, let's say areas, and concrete pouring activity will be in cubic meters, and volume will be used as a formula. So the idea with this approach, it is 3 to 5 times faster than the level 2, and we could have a really full intelligent usage of the data. So this is one example. I think it's a project in United States, when automatically from the beam model, without any additional work, the system created full detailed cost classification, formulas, and everything, and according to the B model available. So those concrete foundation walls really exist in the model, and cost items are created for the sake of, for the purpose of evaluating that specific project. So we are not manually connecting the elements with the tasks. And here are some examples in Germany, in if it's IFC based or uniformat, Uniclass, or any other standard available at the market. The same goes with 4D beam scheduling. Again, we have a situation where we are manually have developed schedules, so tremendous manual work without using any useful information from beam model, and then linking the elements with the tasks, and spend so much time to do that. So one benefit is visualization, but these tasks are manually created. They don't have any quantities, resources, or costs. Or even if costs are added, again, it's 3 million. You know, nobody calculated the cost, just put the end result, which is, of course, we know not very accurate. Manually, selection sets are created. It's not aligned with the schedule. So let's say we could have a sprinkler in the schedule, not sprinkler in the B model, or opposite, we forgot to add sprinkler, and so on. So more or less, very tedious work, manual work. The benefit is nice for this simulation. Unfortunately, when we are talking today about 4D beam scheduling, 80–90% of all companies just see this. So, and that's why the people who are doing 4D are not planners, are not, they are more like some marketing guys who just do some nice work, like with a nice rendering. Planners still do everything in project or Primavera, and those are the big guys and main guys in the company. 4D guys are just unfortunately sometimes just entertainers, and we should avoid this. So we should really together in the team of experts and the guys who know very well 4D to become really the leading planning team of the company. So here is another benefit is auto matching, which is useful. So if you have properly defined processes, let's say in Bexel Manager, you can connect the properties, each property in the elements with the name of the task or any property within the task, and automatically match those things. The problem again is that we need to manually create the schedule and then do the auto matching. So again, we just skipped one process, which is tedious, matching the elements with the tasks, but the the, the schedule is not optimized because it was defined manually. They are not line of balance, there are no flow lines, location-based scheduling, and so on. So the old traditional flaws and issues remains. Scheduling level 2 is really beam-based scheduling. So it's based on the beam data. So the system can automatically create custom breakdown structures, import cost versions, and automatically create or hundreds of thousands of tasks sometimes. And all those tasks have a cost information, relationships are there, and so on. And we are, of course, strongly believe that this is something how the schedules will be done in the future. We have now hundreds of projects, even thousands projects where this is implemented on totally different types. So from infrastructure, hotels, uh, oil and gas projects, and so on, where this is implemented on totally different markets. And it shows that by using those ISO-based workflows, that could be a tremendous change. So in terms of time, this process is, let's say, 20 to 100 times faster, more reliable, and updates are streamlined. So the system will automatically create new tasks when the model is updated. Just to mention, since we are not just, I'm now closing my presentation shortly, that all videos, examples, and detailed tutorials and lectures on the international summits are available, and this presentation will be sent, I hope, to all of you, and there are links to all those videos and informative presentations. And of course, if you have any questions, those questions are most welcome. The last level of level 3 is where we, by knowing, using containment clash, the system can automatically identify all elements in the certain zone or space and automatically distribute the elements to the activities by using, let's say, containment clash as a feature and functionality. So these are ways how, let's say, flow lines could look like. This is example of one football stadium where in a Bexel beam-based methodology system, by just having 120 nodes on 6 levels, where we have zones, we have methodologies, how the works are going to be done. So we capture the expert logic. System automatically create more than 50,000 tasks and relationships. So traditionally, to do that, you would need more than a year, and it's not going to be so detailed. So here are examples of line of balance, of flow lines, resource analysis, and any other analysis where we know on which location a certain activity will be done, and we don't want to have overlapping. In Gantt charts, we cannot see those issues. Here is example of Empire State Building, 90 years ago, built and finished, for 40 years, the highest building in the world. And you see, without computers, flow lines. So they didn't even use Gantt charts. I don't want to say Gantt charts are not useful. We use them, and we support, of course, fully them in Bexel Manager. But without flow lines, we cannot talk really about optimization of construction schedules. Here is an example of in the command center in Bexel Manager. So I see a flow line what has to be done. Here is in a Gantt chart, but you see all baseline costs, total cost, earned value. So resource analysis, cash flow, and at the end visualization, which is just nice to have feature, but these are the ways how we manage the project. Of course, we can identify some issues with this 4D simulation, but they are not the core of our process. By having this integrated monthly payment certificates, look ahead plans, and everything else could be done automatically. So here are, of course, links. You can see those videos, and the same process is with progress monitoring. Again, when somebody says level 0, you usually click on a certain elements in the BIM model, check the quantities, uh, have also some 2D sheets where the areas are hatched which are finished, then do a manual element selection of the activities, and in Excel calculate the quantities of the works. Labor intensive, but I will be honest that even this level 0 is good for beginning. Unfortunately, now on 90% of the projects, the global level, even with good B models and let's say decent 4D simulations, nobody is using BIM for progress monitoring. So even this approach is innovative for certain companies. Level 1 is where by selecting the elements, the system automatically calculates the progress and produce certain 4D, 5D simulations. So again, labor intensive calculations, manual payment certificates, no research productivity analysis, but we have, let's say, a more accurate visualization, and we could produce also plan versus actual simulations. Uh, with real beam-based progress monitoring, we are sending the look-ahead plans to the site, automatically generated from construction schedule and beam model. So each group of elements where formwork has to be done, group of elements where aluminum for facade has to be installed in the next week, and so on. And then on the site, again in a digital way, just fine tune this and deselect 3 walls which are, for example, not finished as it was planned, and automatically have various Power BI analysis reports, and could have really a data-driven decision making and project management. So efficient way for monthly payment certificates, more trustworthiness of the data, earned value analysis, and KPIs. Everything is produced in an integrated way, and of course, easy could be integrated with ERP systems. So these are the benefits. This is a result-oriented BIM. And when we as a contractor see all these benefits, we'll say, okay, let's use this, because now it's finally something beneficial for me. It's not just, okay, some additional burden to my work, and I still have to do everything manually. So here is something also for me, and I'm interested to successfully implement BIM. Now I will just give you example that we now facing in situation in large projects in Europe where we are consultants or part of the project management team, where contractor insists on the better models in order to be able to produce those analysis and optimal schedules much faster and cost analysis. So he's not just, okay, I have a beam as additional work somewhere, and there were some young guys in my company doing this because it's required by the client, but it's really starts to become the heart of my planning and project management system. And I'm asking and expecting and insisting that the client, if he is in charge of development of B model, to provide me accurate B models, because I don't like to have just nice images. I really need to have accurate data in order to manage the project. And in the future, we will have maybe a laser scanning identification of executed works, or RFID research tracking, and so on. So as I mentioned, all those workflows and those videos are available. So the presentation will be sent to you. So these are the visions of look ahead workflows, progress workflows, and the how we evaluated the end success of BIM implementation by reports. So the key questions are sit down with anybody and say, okay, are you producing cost analysis from BIM or not? Schedules are produced manually or directly in BIM. Clash detections are done in traditional way, and quantifications are done in traditional way or directly in BIM. How are you doing earned value analysis and KPI reports? Are progress monitoring entered like somebody is saying, okay, 50% of those works are finished, or it's really accurate data by using BIM? The same goes with the data, document checks, portfolio management reports, facility maintenance, and so on. So the idea is if the answer on all those analyses, yeah, we have a nice BIM models, but most of those analyses, let's say, except maybe clash detection, is done traditionally, we cannot talk about high level of maturity of BIM implementation. And we are unfortunately developing BIM just for a very limited benefits in the project execution. The idea is to have like in a command center, the system in a Power BI, for example, when I every day see or every week, what is my baseline cost, what are my actual costs, what is my earned value, what is my schedule and cost variance. So to have all those information and be able to manage the data, to have a cost and schedule performance indexes. So to be really able to control the project, not by just using my experience and to hope to have luck to accurately predict something, but really to be able to manage the projects. So here are some ideas for a next generation of construction management. Here are the real benefits. So the benefits are full control of the project implementation, improved communication, significantly improved planning, efficient development of quantity takeoff budget and schedules, timely planning and risk mitigation, claim management better, and of course, significant project and time savings, and of course increased profit margins and higher return on investment. So all those videos and technologies are available. There are plenty of educational materials available on Bexel user area, so everybody could access this information. We are having an educational program which is fully free for all academics, so professors and students, and our software versions are available for free for educational purposes. You can watch on the virtual Building Smart International Summits very interesting lectures of myself and my colleagues, where we talked about real examples how this is implemented. You can also watch Bexel Learn Live advanced workflows, where everything is explained by our experts on the real projects. So I would like to thank again everybody for this short. Sorry, I spent 2 minutes more. So as I want to quote at the end Arthur Clarke, the only way of discovering the limits of the possible is to venture a little way past them into the impossible. So you can also contact our Bexel India team, and it would be great pleasure for them also to help you and answer to all interesting questions. Thank you again very much for your attention.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Velcro, because it is a wonderful session, and especially the parts, whatever which you showed towards the end, the dashboard, the command center dashboard is something which I am longing for a long time. So possibly with our MOU and with our other further developments, we can have something in our campus, something in my wall, which I can see and I can look at how the project is progressing in our campus. Thank you so much. I've got a small question. See, when I like that analogy of 4D modelers are someone who are just kind of a cosmetic persons. They'll just go and then show you all those things. So that's what happened And when it comes to a planning, it requires a real planner. I agree. I do agree with you, because we are struggling in our project. I mean, we wanted to have this 4D scheduling, and we wanted to have the planning aspects to be added on that. But the person who is doing this job is just a modeler who knows the technology of connecting the Primavera and or the MS Project or Excel input to the model, and he used to check, okay, did you have the model components matched or mapped? These two are done by two different parties, by the way. So I wanted to ask you this. I mean, when you apply it in this project setup, will you appoint a modeler or a planner for this, or you wanted to change the modeler to have this planning knowledge, or change the planner to have the modeling knowledge?
Thank you, Dr. Senthil. Excellent question. So the suggested workflow is very simple. So methodology, relationships as a template, we call this methodology templates, are developed by experts. Zoning strategies, everything as a start, and those creation schedule templates are developed by the experts and the experienced planners. Then when everything is set up in a proper way, more or less the system will automatically, of course there is some technical person who knows how to do that, the system will automatically create the schedules, and which will be fully according to the template or standard you as an expert would like to implement. At the end, when the schedule is generated, let's say, and you have 20, 30, 50,000 tasks, again, you as an expert have all analysis available. So resource utilization, materials, you can visually see how the activity is gone, and you can polish that schedule and have the final result. So the idea is that the experts has to be involved. Of course, what we envision also that some young people, that what is experienced, that this tremendously help in a facilitating education process, because it is a self-explainable system. So what we found also that some relatively young planners could acquire lot of knowledge in a relatively short period of time and standardize the expert knowledge of all the experienced guys and be directly involved in those processes. So this is also something very interesting happening with utilizing our technology.
Fantastic, fantastic. And sorry to be so specific. I mean, when you show me all this earned value curves, right? I mean, we used to have this particular problem. I mean, our project had a little hiccup in the beginning due to this, pandemic effect and all. Exactly this one. Okay, pandemic and other things. I mean, initially the variation between the planned and the earned is wider, and then later on the company geared up and then wanted to, close the gap. Suppose if a systems like Primavera give me something like, okay, it takes the whole history of the progress and then give me a projection, but the latest accelerated effect is not being completely captured and then give me kind of a realistic completion time. For example, 5 months back, if you come and then ask me that whether the project is going to be finished on time, I would say that highly unlikely. But now if you come and then ask me, I would say that yes, possibilities are there. You got it. I mean, there used to be a dynamic variation in terms of acceleration, but systems like Primavera used to actually take the whole thing as a one go, right? The project as a whole performance, say CPI or SPI or whatever it is, right? So does the tool has flexibility to change the gears and then see how it is going to be realistically forecasting and all those things? It's a very specific question. Just curious to know.
Thank you for your question. I would say that, yeah, of course, the idea is you have, for example, in Bexel Manager, 3 ways how the this schedule is updated. One is that you estimate that the pace will remain the same as it was planned. The second approach is to use existing pace and to extend the tasks or shorten them according to that. And third one is to try to shorten all remaining parts in order to meet the deadline. But sometimes the system will send you a warning that, okay, it's not realistic, you cannot do this. But the another challenge is that people simply in Primavera is excellent tool, but cannot manually create good proper relationships because it's so complex. So they usually have plenty of start relationships because they don't have time to have 10,000 tasks. And so when I'm late on a first task, no activity will be moved because it starts. So first started, so there is no reason to start the second one. So that's why we sometimes have a very strange situation. You should start working on facade on the third floor, and my structural work are not finished on that floor already. So I have to manually do that. This is because I don't want to say that this is because Primavera cannot do that. Primavera can, but me simply as humans do not have time to manually create those accurate schedules, and we usually have those lot of start relationships which should be avoided. And tasks are generalized, so we have, let's say, MEP work in that building. We don't have information mechanical work on the third floor because it's, for us as humans, very difficult and time consuming to do that manually. So the answer is in a two levels. So, and unfortunately Primavera does not have what I believe should be added, location based scheduling. Uh, because Primavera is tailored for any project, not just for construction projects. And we in construction have location as one very, very important information. We should use that information and in a flow lines.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Any other questions from the audience? You can raise your hands so that the IT personals will help you to unmute yourself. Okay, if there are no more questions, fantastic. There are some good feedbacks coming. Yeah.
And thank you very much for the invitation, Dr. Senthil and the entire team. And again, congratulations on excellent organization of the event.
Yeah, we also would like to thank. It is very informative, and it is a needy one. I'm not sure about the others, but for me, because I'm really struggling to manage the whole portfolio, whatever which has been here. So I hope that this will do some wonders in our project, and we'll see that. Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Velcro and the team, Bexel India, Bexel Consulting India.
Thank you very much, Velko.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll continue this journey.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Cheers. Some information to the participants before we get into this closing ceremony, which is going to be continuous. With this, all the sessions are over. We are formally over with the technical session, and we have got one session which is nothing but the closing ceremony. Before the closing ceremony, I would like to tell something. There are some speculation going on, like the assessment was not informed and all those things. Assessment can be at any time, because I could see that now the attendance is 112. Sometime the attendance is only 70. This is for the benefit of you. If you attend all the session, if you attend all the if you listen to all the speakers, definitely the information about the assessment would have been reached to you. Or if you could have looked at your WhatsApp, you could have seen. So these are all some of the notifications. Yes, but still we would like to give another chance. After this closing ceremony, the link will be there in the chat box of the Zoom window. For 15 minutes, there will be another 15 minutes given to you to attend the assessment. The assessment will take maximum of 10 minutes, not more than that. Those who have not completed, please do complete it. Those who have already attended, don't try it, because even if you try it, your first attempt will be taken as a mark for the session. it's a waste of effort. That's what I would like to tell. So you will be given with the quiz for 15 minutes after the session or during the session. So please have a watch on this, and don't actually write some unwanted informations and other things. Every problem has a solution, and especially in construction projects, you will be living with all those uncertainties. Okay, so uncertainties used to be there. Please bear with us, and we can find a solution. So we are opening the question and answer session soon. Please watch over in your chat box. I'm not sure whether it has been done or not. And there is one more hand which has been raised. I will unmute. CFT team, can you please unmute Mr. Juicer? Mr. Juicer would like to tell something. Yes.
Sorry, it was my mistake. Sorry, it was my mistake.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Right. So I would like to thank AICTE for giving us an opportunity to have such a program. Also, I would like to thank our IITPalakkad administration and India BIM Association for materializing this particular event. I would like to thank all the speakers, starting from our beloved director, Professor B.V. Sunil Kumar from IIT Palakkad, who inaugurated this FDP 5 days before, followed with eminent speaker Professor Koshi Varghese from IIT Madras on his all-around introduction and insightful keynote speech, who firmly set the ground for this particular 5-day event. Then the same was discussed with Indian context by Dr. Amarnath on the same day, the second session of the first day. The third session is by Dr. Damien, discussing about UK model of technology transfer. He took BIM as a use case. And we believe that still UK model of BIM implementation is a pioneering way of digital transformation. And the second day started with Dr. Amarnath exploring the need of BIM standards, followed with Mr. Pawan and Mr. Bhushan on ISO 19650, the standard which has been promulgated internationally in many countries. And we also said the why, saying that we need a separate standard for our country, or we have to at least explore what is the application or implementation challenges for using this ISO 19650 or whatever it is. The third day started with my presentation on the CDE with our case study and other things, followed with Mr. Raja from L&T and Dr. Amarnath also on that day's afternoon session, given the BIM implementation use cases. And the fourth day started with an introduction to point cloud and LiDAR by Mr. Mohit from Faro Technologies, and Dr. Sushil also has given an insightful presentation on BIM, utilizing BIM on rehabilitation projects. The day ended with Dr. K. Ranjit on modular and industrial construction from UK Imperial College. Today we started with Mr. Kalyan from Bentley on the collaborative data environment. We were talking about common data environment, and he's talking about collaborative data environment, followed with the social aspects of digital transformation, which is a very, very different way of looking at the technology transformation. The social aspects and the Indian context were well being put forward to you to think about it and then comprehend it for your future plans and strategies, which is done by Dr. Kali Rajan from L&T. And the last session just now concluded with Dr. Velcro from Bexel Consulting on digital transformation, on time and cost management in construction projects. It is a dream, I would say. It is a dream of any of the construction manager who is looking after projects of the scale or any project scale, I can say. So I'm also excited to implement it in our site, and then in case if we get another FDP in the coming years, we will be happy to present our experiences with this particular digital transformation on time and cost management as Dr. Velko presented to you just before. And also, I would like to thank all the other organizations, Pexel India, Bentley, Faro Technologies, India BIM Association, and L&T, all those agencies who supported by letting their speakers to come down and speak in this particular program. Further, I would like to thank our CFAT team. Special mentions to Mr. Soju and Mr. Biju, who spearheading the team, and his teammates. I don't know all their name, but they are behind this without hiccup technological platform to be enabled as a nice learning platform for the past 5 days. So thank you so much, sir. Your team has done a wonderful job. In addition, I would like to thank my research scholars, Mr. Nikunj Dhanani and Mrs. Anju for helping me from the day one onwards. And I'm sure that they might have burned the heat, whatever which is generated from you, during this session and other things about the feedback form or the assessment or whatever it is. Thank you so much, my dear scholars. I mean, you have done a wonderful job. Last but not least, all the attendees and participants, it is not possible if you are not supporting this particular event. It was very, very informative, and thank you so much for listening to all the speakers with a high level of decorum and discipline, and which normally we don't use to get it in the classroom even. Thank you so much for that. I mean, you once again prove that you are all professionals, and thank you so much for that. And if any of you would like to give one or two words or voices with your own tone about this particular program, you are most welcome. I can allow another 1 or 2 persons or 3 persons maximum. Thank you so much, and thank you for everyone who involved in this particular FDP, 5-day FDP, and I'm sure that we all can work together, and you're most welcome to visit our campus anytime, any point of time, whenever the situation becomes very conducive for us to interact and visit. We at IITPalakkad open for any teaching and research collaboration related to this particular area. You can write to me. My email ID and contact number and everything is there on the website. You can give me a mail. I'm happy to listen to you all. Yeah. Thank you so much, and thank you very much. If you have anything to say with your own voice, you wanted to record it, please raise your hand. Our CFAT team will open it for you. Otherwise, there will be a link for the quiz as well as feedback for the session. Please do that, and our session, this particular link, Zoom link, will be disabled after 15 minutes. So I think the quiz link is out. Those who haven't attended, please make use of it. And one more information is the AACT will also ask you about the feedback. You go and then you can give your feedback. Only after you giving your feedback and we upload your attendance and test assessment mark, you will get the certificate. Otherwise, you don't get the certificate. Okay. So any queries, you can write to Nikunj or Anju. I have given shared their email IDs with you in the intimation emails. One more thing is, so for certificates, as I said, you have to give your feedback for all the sessions, and then we have to upload the attendance and marks. Give us a day or two to do this, because we are also ventured with so many other work. So give us a day or two. Next week, by mid of next week, if you don't get your, or if you don't access your certificates in the ATAL website, you can give us an email or send us an email. I think somebody wanted to talk. If anybody would like to talk, please raise your hand. CFAT team will open it for you. Venkatesh and Abhinaya would like to talk. Please open it for them.
Very good evening, sir. And I would like to thank you very much. Actually, I don't have words. You provide me such a good platform for me, actually. So I am a bit confused how to do my research and digital transformation of construction AEC sector. It's a dream for me. It is a dream. So my guide Dr. Gangadhar Maheswar is recommended this this FDP. So this is very helpful. It gives me a lot of insights. How can I proceed with my research work and everything? From the starting, Dr. Ramna sir to and Kalyan Rajan sir, everyone is given wonderful insights. You are the reason for this, and you provide a bit of confusion of how to implement. Is it? I mean, is it okay to go with this kind of platforms in India or something? But in your case study, you proved we can achieve these things in any condition also. Like that, you provided. You've given me confidence for we can go with this kind of technologies. And thank you very much. I don't want to say more than that.
Yeah.
It's
Thank
more
you.
than.
Thank you so much. And please convey my best regards to Gangadhar because he's best friend of mine. And yeah, thank you. Next one, somebody else also raised the hand. Is it by mistake or CFNT team? Do you see anyone raising hands? Okay, right. Thank you. With this, this particular platform is going to be there online for 15 more minutes. I'll be leaving, and all the very best. Stay safe, and Dr. Velcro, please have a happy, vacation. And I'm sorry to disturb you at this amid your vacation. And
Thank you again.
Thanks.
It was a great pleasure. Thank you again for organizing this great event.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for a great event, Dr. Sindhil Kumar.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think Abhinaya opened up. Abhinaya, can you, CFET team, can you please open up for Abhinaya, please, and freeze her mic? CFET team, are you there?
Yes, sir, we do it, but he is not able to mute. We send him the request to unmute, but he is not unmuting.
I will ask them. Abhinaya, please bear with us.
Hello, sir, can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, I'm really happy and glad that I attended this FDP. I'm from architecture basis. I did my master's in energy efficient and sustainable architecture from NIT Trichy. And presently I'm working as faculty in PS University, Bangalore. And I didn't have even, I just have 1 year of experience overall. So I'm a kid for this particular FDP, I think. First of all, I'm really glad that I came with zero knowledge about BIM, and I didn't know. Sometimes it becomes some alien language to me, but still I was able to grasp few things, and I'm really happy that I came to know something about this, because this was even not heard before in our college days, or we don't even discuss something like this among our friends. So it's like insightful information. It's like I really love the FTP and really thankful for accepting us into this, because first of all, even I didn't know whether I'll be permitted to attend this, because is that something different from what I was learning. So no words, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you.
Most welcome. Yes, thank you all.